let's get it. I'm trying to put money in your pocket, that crypto wallet, that bing bada bing ching ching big profit. Even when the market's sideways, I'm looking for ways to get paid. I'm checking my coins around breakfast, then again around bedtime. Bet this, it's not financial advice, but I'm always right. 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 I'm always right.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Believes Crypto Show. My name is Believes Crypto. We're here to talk about this crazy crypto world, and I'm going to tell you everything that's going on. It's almost Uptober. We've had another dump in the market, and we've still not had an altcoin season, despite the fact that, mathematically speaking, we had an altcoin season. You guys remember that? There was an altcoin season that lasted for 2 days, 3 days. Nothing happened. Nothing happened. And why didn't it happen? I gave you the answer a long time ago, because Bitcoin has not run up yet. And not only me, but now Raoul Paul has come out, and he actually has he has an opinion on the matter. And guess what? It's my opinion on the matter. It's what I gave you months and months and months and months and months ago. Is that not crazy to know that, I was right, or at least it's my opinion that I was right. You know, it still has to play out. But if you guys remember, what I told you was going to happen was that the market most likely is looking for your tax return. These guys, retail, they look, institution knows where your money is. They know how they're going to shake you out. What they're going to do is they're going to suddenly, crypto is going to become real en vogue at the beginning of next year, when everybody's starting to figure out, what am I going to do with my tax refund? What am I going to do with my tax refund? Oh, I'm going to put it into crypto, because you're going to get advertisements. You're going to get people everywhere telling you that you got to get in on it. Now, that doesn't change some of the thesis of what we see going on. That doesn't change how the money supply is running. Doesn't change anything that could happen in the meantime. Money supply continuing to go up, prices continue to go up, but not at the level that we would like to see. Not that crazy run. But the question is, what is Trump doing about it? Like, what is happening right now with the government, and why is nothing seeming to move the market the way that we want to see? Because it's moving the stock market, it's moving gold, but crypto is kind of caught in this sludgy sort of morass, sideways trading. You know, we get a little bit of spike, then we get a dump. People are getting manipulated. We're seeing it play out day in and day out. I'm going to explain a little bit about what's going on. And by the way, everything is about manipulation. Nothing is about the natural flow of markets. And that does not apply just to what we're talking about today. We're talking about Muskrat King says, so do you think the 4-year cycle is broken? I've been saying that for a year now. As soon as we didn't get a pump, as soon as altcoin, 6 months, as soon as we didn't get a pump during, remember the pump happened in November of 24 and December of 24, and then we started a downward trend going into January. Now, some things blew off a little bit because we did have a limited altcoin season, but that was it. And we didn't get a tax refund boom. And it's very, very simple. You can look at a chart and any moron can tell you what was going on and what was happening. You know, if we go back here and we look at it on the chart, by the way, make sure you hit the like button on the way in. This was 2020 going into 2021. This is where we are. Okay. Now, what we ended up seeing at the end of last year, or at the end of 2020, was this little move right here. We saw this right here. Now, this was the start of it. And what we expected to see going into January was that continuation. Again, we got this, but then January hit and we got a little bit of this right here. And then we got a little correction, and then it went parabolic. Now, flash forward to the beginning of this year, And we got the same thing happening in November 24. Everything was playing out the exact same way. And then we got the pivot down here at the beginning of January, and then we got nothing. Okay. This is where Doge, this is where SHIB, this is where everything went absolutely parabolic right there. And what did we get instead? A dump. Okay. That's exactly what happened. So the immediate pivot in your thesis at that point should be, well, it's going to be delayed by a year. I believe that tax refunds are going to matter. Why are they going to matter? People don't have extra money. In case you've not been paying attention, and in case you're not looking around, and in case you're in some type of, I don't know, cult, okay, and you think that everything is fine because people are being kicked out of the country or something like that. If that's your thing, that's your thing. But that's not where money comes from. Money comes from inflation being down and people having more money in their pockets. One of the problems with that, the Fed has been slow to cut rates. And we're going to talk about that in just a moment, because Stephen Milan of the Fed has now come out against these guys. It is unbelievable. Okay. It is unbelievable what we're watching happen right now at the Fed. They are bucking Jerome Powell. They are openly questioning his decision-making. They are after him in a hard way. I love it. I love to see it happen. Now, but what that means is that has to come down, because that extra money that you're paying every month, that's your credit card. Okay. If you have a $5,000 credit card and you were paying, I don't know, $150 a month on your card or something, now you're paying $160 because the Fed kicked the rates up, or $170 or something like that, because you've added 4 points, 4% to your interest rate. If you got the variable, then you're paying more in interest. If you're buying a new house, you're paying more in interest. Now you can refinance later when the rates come down, but you are paying more out of pocket, and you're not getting raises that assimilate these adjustments. Okay. You're not getting the things that you need in order to survive. The one thing that I can say that you got, egg prices. But if the only thing you're eating is eggs to begin with, this was great for you. But if you drink milk, it's not great. If you eat meat, it's really not great. Remember, we still had the bird flu that wiped out chicken populations. Now we have the beef. Beef is out of control in its pricing. Now, it will come back down. But remember, transportation costs are also elevated. I paid $3.04 for gasoline a couple days ago. That was the lowest price that I've paid in a long time. I mean, in a long time, $3.04. So if that continues to happen and we continue to see a dip in oil and gas prices, or at least gasoline prices, because the oil is being manipulated, but if we see that, then inflation will start to come under control. If that happens right around now, or starting right now, and we start to see the dip heading into it, then guess what? Christmas. People are going to be spending money on Christmas, and then they're going to be focused on tax refunds. And then the tax refunds at the beginning of the year starts in February, something like that. That's going to be the moment in time where suddenly you're going to see all kinds of different advertisements for crypto. Crypto will be ubiquitous. It will be everywhere in January and February, and it's going to go absolutely out of control. Okay. I'm telling you right now, I know this is going to happen. I know it's going to happen because I understand manipulation. I understand how you're going to be manipulated. That's exactly how you're going to be manipulated. Everybody's going to be talking about crypto at the beginning of this year. Also, remember, they are slow walking the Clarity Act. They want to get it done, quote unquote, before the end of the year. Are you listening? Do you understand what I'm saying here? They're doing it to manipulate in order to pull this into the beginning of 2026. Okay. So do you think Bitcoin will dip in 2027? Yes. My thesis was the end of 2026, but now it's playing out a little bit longer. We are going to see a move for Bitcoin back down to about 75 to 80,000 at some point, or at least fingers crossed, we're going to see that happen. I don't know for sure. Everything is going to be entirely speculative. Maybe we see it like that. Maybe we don't see it like that. The important thing is there will be a moment where we get a massive dip in Bitcoin, and hopefully we've chosen the right altcoins to make millions of dollars, and we're going to turn those millions of dollars into Bitcoins, and then we're going to ride that Bitcoin wave all the way back up as it goes from, I want to say my prediction, of course, is going to be 170,000. Raul Paul disagrees. He thinks it's going to be 200,000 by the end of the year. I think that's stupid. I don't think that's true, but it could be. We could see an absolute breakout. It just doesn't make any sense right now with the level of capital that's required to make something like that happen. I'm going to say 170, 175,000 is going to be the top of this market. If it's not, and I'm wrong. And by the way, remember what I told you also when Donald Trump was elected. I said the difference that I think is that with Joe Biden as president, if he got a second term or something, we would do 175,000, 170,000. With Donald Trump, we do 250,000. Okay. I haven't really changed that yet, but I haven't really felt that either. Okay. I'm not sure that we're going to get exactly what I'm thinking at this point. So that might ultimately change. Okay. I don't know for sure. So let's break down exactly what's going on in the markets right now. We've got a dip of $84 billion coming in again today after the dip that we had 2 days before. Looking at the chart on the daily right now, let's refresh and let's pull this along here. We have our last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 5 of 7 red candles. 1, 2, 3 of them very big. So this is just another continuation of dumps that have been happening. By the way, this could be the end of it. And the reason that I say that is because I think I was a little aggressive on this one because we weren't seeing the full play out. Also, I'm not sure this is the full play out or not, but if you look at this and I move this out just a little bit right here, right? Suddenly this matches, and this matches. It could be that we've actually hit the bottom of this sort of cycle here, and that we're going to see a big surge of about $300 billion re-entering this market in the next couple of days as we go back up here to that 4.1 trillion market cap. Okay, that's what the chart says is most likely to happen. Now, the other thing is we do have to be mindful of this bearish little divergence right there, or at least it's not a bearish divergence in the RSI, but it is a bearish top over here because we've got a big top right here, and then we've got a smaller top coming, which means that we're in a downward trend. So this really tells me, or at least it should be telling you and me, that we've got some upside momentum, but we might look at it from this context and we might see this happen at 4.05 trillion. We might see it come back down, or we might see it get rejected at that point. Okay. That's me just kind of guessing. But let's get into the news and let's figure out what's going on. Number one, Donald Trump considers Jill Summers and Kyle Hauptman, I don't even know if I can say that name right, Hauptman, for CFTC chair role. Now, the White House is weighing Jill Summers and Kyle Hauptman. A source close to the process said both names have surfaced as the administration accelerates the search for a new CFTC chair. According to popular journalist Eleanor Tourette, friend of the channel, by the way, we love Ellie. Summers and Hauptman are among the most serious candidates now under consideration. Their appearance on the shortlist comes as Washington seeks to resolve leadership at the CFTC. Summers is a former CFTC commissioner with a decade of experience at Potomac Global Partners. This is a consulting firm founded by former SEC Commissioner Paul Atkins. In a recent interview, Atkins stated he is not interested in the CFTC leadership role. Their professional and close friendship have made Summers a prominent name in regulatory circles. Her record at the CFTC showed openness to market innovation. That is exactly what we need, is somebody who's open to market innovation. Hauptman currently serves as the 13th chairman of the National Credit Union Administration before joining NCUA. He was a senior VP at the investment bank Jefferies, where he traded U.S. Treasuries and futures. In addition, his experience in both regulatory oversight and traditional markets has positioned him as a credible candidate. So these guys are both, by the way, crypto friendly. So it'd be fascinating to see this happen. This would just be another example of clear adoption. Also, this is where we now have something going on that is crazy. If you remember, the Atlanta Fed chair, whatever his fucking name is, came out and said, I don't think we should do any rate cuts until next year. I think we've sufficiently done everything. Or whatever bullshit he said, right? Stephen Moran, however, has called for a series of 50 bips rate cuts after FOMC dissent. Okay, now we've got somebody who's talking. We have a Fed governor who is out here right now saying that what Jerome Powell is doing is wrong. What this Atlanta Fed guy is doing is wrong. They're full of shit. They don't know what they're talking about. They are slow to react to the market, and they are failing this country. And don't forget, We need those big rate cuts in order to refinance the US debt. Refinancing the US debt helps us get better as a country, because instead of adding 4% to the debt that we're already forced to pay, that's going to add more to the national debt, by the way. We would have a lower rate, and that would help us save billions upon billions of taxpayer dollars. And the Fed is absolutely not doing anything about that. They don't care. They don't care how much of your tax money. Do you know why? Because it's not their money. It's not in their pocket. It's in your pocket, and they want a little bit more of it, just a little more, so that they can continue to quote unquote help you and help your economy. Did you know that the world survived without a Fed for a long time before we added one? Fed Reserve Governor Stephen Moran has continued his advocacy for more aggressive Fed rate cuts. This comes as the crypto market continues its decline following the first rate cut of the year at last week's FOMC meeting. The Fed governor said during a Fox Business interview that the committee needs to make larger cuts to reach the neutral rate. He further opined that they can get there through a series of 50 basis point cuts, readjusting monetary policy, and then they can cool off after that. This came as Moran again noted that monetary policy is too restrictive, which he claimed makes the economy more vulnerable to downside shocks. Notably, the newly appointed Fed governor was the only one who dissented in favor of a 50 basis point Fed rate cut at last week's FOMC meeting. Okay, so these ghouls are sitting there on this board, and they are trying to say, you know what? Let them eat cake. Fuck these people. We don't give a shit about these people. They're garbage. You Americans are worthless. Pardon me, but do you have something gray I could poop on? You know, they do that kind of gross shit. Moran mentioned how his fellow Fed officials are too concerned about the Trump tariffs and how they could lead to rising inflation. By the way, the tariffs are a great thing. I'm not a Trump supporter, but I am a Trump tariff supporter. This is a great thing for the country. Now, it does cost money right now. Okay, we're not looking at the full benefit or the full detraction, if it doesn't work out, of what's going on with the tariffs. But it is my belief that in the long term, this is going to fix a lot of the problems in America. One of the big problems in America right now, farming. Farmers are having a huge problem because Donald Trump promised that, or at least he promised the farmers that he would give them what they need. And then he took the laborers away. So now farmers are unable to meet, or have become less able to meet, the needs of our society. Okay. The farms are falling right now. And Trump has done nothing to this point. That doesn't mean that he won't, but to this point, he's done nothing to fix that situation. There has to be some kind of visa process. There has to be something that can be done to allow, and by the way, that still doesn't change the fact that, look, if you're a felon, if you're illegal, you have to get rid of people. There has to be a visa process, though, that makes it easy for the labor market to still function and work. And we are seeing it break down right now. And we shouldn't be seeing breakdowns. We should be seeing pumps. Okay. Scott Bessent added that he is surprised that Fed Chair Powell hasn't signaled plans to make up to 150 basis point cut by year end. Okay. Powell has given a speech earlier this week where he cooled off rate cut expectations, noting that the incoming data will determine their next steps. However, he admitted that the slowdown in the labor market was what prompted the first rate cut of the year last week. Now, let's take a moment and let's step back. Inflation projection since rate cut. Do we have anything right now? Inflation is projected to be 3% for the year and then fall to 2.6. Okay, so that's just a long term. Global inflation. No. U.S. inflation report on Friday, which is tomorrow, is going to tell whether this rate cut was a good idea. So it's probably going to be early to get any data. We're going to have to wait for it tomorrow. Then we'll know and we'll have an idea. But by the way, let's also point out that right there is so disingenuous. Look at it. I want you to go back. This is the title. Okay. I've already got it. But the title was about the rate cut. And then they're like, this data is going to tell us whether the September 18 cut was the right one. What's the data from August? So why don't you shut the fuck up about it? Do you know what I mean? Like the rate cut didn't have anything to do with August, because the rate cut happened a week ago. You know what I mean? Like, it's absolutely crazy the way these people are trying to manipulate you and trying to ensure that you do not succeed. It is gross. These people are they're so bad. Anyway, we've got rate cuts coming, I think. I think we're going to be forced and compelled to do that. So let's talk about a couple of cryptos. Number one, HBAR price Elliott wave signals an 86% rebound as key risks remain. And I told you I'm not a fan of HBAR, that what HBAR has been doing so far, I've not seen, I haven't seen anything right now that would compel me to say that this thing is going to pop. All right. However, I don't mean that in the long term. In the short term, this looks like a good. Okay, let me show you what this guy is predicting right here. God damn it, I used the wrong one. All right. So basically what they're saying is that we've got this move, and then we're going to get this move followed by that. And then we'll get, of course, the retest on the downside. Okay. So that's what he is predicting is about to happen with the move right there. We're talking about 86% from 20, which means 36. So what he's saying is, let's try to give you the right number here. What he's saying is this, followed by this, followed by that. So that's the Elliott wave that this guy needs, or this guy feels like is getting ready to happen. Now, this probably, because I'm doing that stupid right there, that's probably more like somewhere in that little range right there. Like that should be the biggest wave. So, something like that. Okay. That's what he's saying is playing out. So the Elliott wave theory is going to lead to an 86% potential gain for HBAR, which would take it up to about 36 cents. So if we see that happen, that's going to be great. Now we look over here and could we get some confirmation of it? Well, it actually, if we do that it corresponds. By the way, there's symmetry in everything, right? It corresponds with all of this right here, right there. So most likely, this is a good opportunity to accumulate some HBAR. I don't know that we're not going to get more dip right now. We were down 110, $115 billion on the day. We're now down 72 billion. The Dow Jones dumped super hard, by the way, this morning. There was a sell-off. There was a broad sell-off that just started. Dow Jones futures. There was a broad sell-off that started this morning. Astera Labs, Credo, other hot stocks continued to slide. Oracle fell yesterday. Oracle, of course, Larry Ellison now has more money than Elon Musk or something like that. Like Larry Ellison's value went to the moon in the last couple of months. But we're starting to see a slide in some of those, meaning that, people are taking profit along the way. But anyway, Dow Jones slides a little bit, has a big sell-off day. And guess what? It's only down 34 points right now, 31 points right now. We're starting to get that big reversal. Along with that big reversal, we're getting a tiny bit of reversal in the crypto market, down $71 billion. But again, we were down $120 billion just a little short while ago. So I don't know if that buyback is valid or not yet. I can tell you this. Bitcoin, we got triggered last night at 112,500 and it continued to dip. So we are down on everything. But also, if I show you guys, I don't know how it's doing right now, but we also triggered that Margex, or we triggered that link buy that I was telling you about. I don't know how it's doing right now. Link is up $112 right now. We're down pretty big, by the way. We're down 30% on some of these on these dips. Now I kind of forced the position last night because I thought, based on the data that we're getting, we might have an opportunity for a nice and significant little run. So I thought that maybe we would have like a good kind of breakout. Not that it would last, but that we would have a nice little breakout. So we are down quite a bit on, we're down what, 600, 700, 800. We're down everything that we earned the day before. It's being offset right now by the gains that we're getting on Link. But we entered Link at $21. And so we're up, it's 21.27 right now. Bitcoin, we got in 112.5. Ethereum, we got in at 41.52. Solana, 212. our liquidation point is the really the one that matters, right? Really, it's just about the liquidation point. Are we going to go down to the point that we get liquidated at 3570? I don't think so. I think even in a worst case scenario, Ethereum's dip is 3700, or at least that's the way that it seems like. Maybe if something happens, we could make some, we'll make some on the fly moves there, maybe. But I mean, we're going to see how it plays out. So I think that the market might have spiked. We might have seen a reversal. Again, I'm just basing it on that thesis that, we've hit the bottom of this range right here, and that a reversal is probably imminent. Now, I don't know that to be the case. Again, Dow Jones, all of this stuff might cause a little bit of problem. Good morning, Leighton. That might cause a little bit of a problem, but let's keep going right here. H-bar Elliott wave might play out. Now, XRP can fix the debt crisis. Who says stuff like that? Says Black Swan capitalist founder as analyst touts a $15 price rally. Versan Aljara claims XRP could solve the global debt crisis by tokenizing trillions of debt. He argues only XRP, alongside tokenized gold and stablecoins, can unlock trapped liquidity. Analyst eGreg Crypto forecasts XRP could surge to $15 to $33 based on the historic bullish patterns. What's right in the middle between 15 and 33? 15 plus 33 is 48. Divided by 2 is 24. Remember what my thesis was? 25. Guys, everybody who has been telling you this shit for the last couple of days is now doing what I did a year ago. I gave you a price prediction on XRP of $25 a year ago. And guess what? Now everybody else is starting to do the same. So, and I got to take my victory laps when I get my victory laps. When people start to validate my thesis 6 months after I've already given it to you, I love that. I love that. That's why you got to hit the like button, by the way. Hit the goddamn like button so that more people watch this, because they don't want to get broke. They don't want to be a brokey. All right, next article. China's Jizzy. Who names their company Jizzy? Who does that outside of Pornhub? Holdings unveils a $1 billion crypto treasury strategy on Bitcoin, ETH, and BNB. This is China, another company in China entering the crypto game. Now, why are they doing this, and why are they announcing it without the Chinese government interfering? Probably because they got approval from the Chinese government to do this, which means that the Chinese government is actively allowing these kind of things to happen, which is exactly what we want to see. This is how we get that big pump. This is how we get that big surge. This is how the world changes. This is how the paradigm shifts, if you will. So not atom shift, though. Ew, gross. So we could be looking at another big influx of the Bitcoin wars. The Bitcoin wars are starting, okay? And China falling behind. China does not hold as much as the United States, but it has 5 times the population. China's going to have to get to work, okay? Now, China does not believe that their people should have Bitcoin. They do not believe in that sort of freedom, because then that means that they're not in control. China's not in control of their policy, okay? So you won't see a whole lot of that. But you will see Chinese businesses that are under Asian rule. You will see those kind of companies start to accumulate. And you're seeing it right now that the Jizz Bucket Holdings is buying up some Bitcoin. Also, crypto markets sell off. This is why it is so important right now. It is right here. This is the largest ever options expiry. It's going to happen tomorrow. Now, what does that mean? It means these markets could fall apart and collapse, or these debts could be settled and we could go to the moon. Okay. It's the end of the month, biggest expiry. And guess what? More people are in crypto than were ever in crypto before. And now that Friday expiry at the end of the month, basically the end of the third quarter, it's the biggest one of all time. So soak it in, enjoy it, and get ready for a volatile day, because it's going to get absolutely crazy, in my opinion, over the next little while. Like we're probably going to see some crazy shit happening right now. Hopefully it's going to be to the good side, but we do not know. Now, as far as the Kobayashi letter says, NASDAQ falls 1.3% at the open of the market. Didn't stay that way. We just saw it. We just saw a recovery. It's now down 0.3% on the day. So it didn't stay all the way down. Okay. But it is quickly coming back. All right. All signs point to an overdue pullback after one of the best 5-month runs in stock market history. And the question is, will that be right now? And the answer to that, in my opinion, is I think that there's a capital rotation that we're about to experience. You know what? We need to see, did gold cool off at all? Let's go look at gold. Gold has cooled off for a couple days. So that's a small dip, by the way. That is a small dip. So, you know, what we would like to see, and look at this. We had this pivot here to this pivot here. What do we get? We got this move. We got exactly what I told you guys always happens, right? And then it broke out and it went to a higher high. Well, now, what if this pivot right here, what if this impulse right here, it goes up to right here, then we've got a pullback coming to around $3,500 on gold. It's not a lot. It's not really a lot. But if we see that happen, it's going to be capital rotation, and it's going to be a rotation into probably Bitcoin. And by the way, look at how overheated the RSI is right now. It can only go so high before people are going to take profit and people are going to allow it to pull back. And right now we are at or near a top. I don't know if we're at the top. So, but if gold cools off, then we're going to see a massive rally in Bitcoin. By the way, they are no longer paired together. They've been working apart from one another for a little while. So gold takes off. We'll see what happens here. All right. Anyway, back to it. Bull market indicators. None of the bull market indicators are hit. We're at 0 of 30. 100% hold mode. That means the bull run is not over. We'll start to see some of these get hit and they'll start to trigger, but I don't think that they will. Tom Collide says, last 6 months have been rough. When the hell are the memes going to kick back in? I mean, you got to look at memes are by the way, memes are kicking in. Memes are kicking in every single day. Every single day, you're seeing a brand new launch that does millions of market caps, and then it dumps epically. That is the meme market. The meme market is a gambler's market. Some of the meme coins with utilities and with teams that are dedicated and focused on building or doing something, those cryptos will have another big run. But the end result here is cryptos with utilities are going to pump first. Bitcoin, as the store of value, will be the first one to have a monumental pump. Now, we've already had a really good run on Bitcoin. The question is, have we had a blow off? And the answer to that is no. The next move for Bitcoin is 135,000 in my estimation. Once we get to 135,000, that money will start to kick down, 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 down. And by the way, there's a symmetry in 150,000 when I think about it. So we could see 135 to 150,000. 150,000, I think, would kick off an enormous run, because I bet a bunch of people have their sell order set at 150, just because, like, I'm gonna sell it at 150,000, bro. So probably a lot of sell orders set at that level. But 135,000 is going to be another big run. And guess what? The money is going to cascade down and people are going to layer into altcoins one more time. We saw the altcoin season attempt itself, but we didn't have a high enough Bitcoin. So then we have to have a full-on altcoin season if we want meme coins to pump one more time. Really, that's how it happens. So if we see that happen, then we'll know that it's, we'll know that it's going on. As far as the markets go, I mean, you can look at the charts and you can see, again, we've got that where we are right now is a decent position for the potential breakout right there. We're in this channel. We're starting to get bought up just a little bit. Looks like the market might be reversing a tad. By the way, I said that before, and the market continues to dump all day long. So I'm not saying that this is a reversal at all. I'm just saying that this is a pivot point, generally speaking, where when you get a strong wick like this, like you got this strong wick like this, and you got this strong wick like this, that usually, and you're in this trend, that usually means that you're going to get a pump, right? So, it looks like there's a potential for a pump. Now, if this dumps down below 3.65 trillion, if we dump down below this, everything changes, because now we're in a descending channel. And if we pump again, we're just going to catch up to where we already are. So that should be at least considered. Right now, we're bullish because we're minting higher lows and we're on our way up. And I think that that's going to continue, but I don't know. Now, if I were to say that, then what I need to do for that thesis is money supply. What does the money supply tell me? Well, the money supply tells me that we're in a big dip right now, that we're in this spot right here, that maybe we're right here, but that this is coming right here, that we're about to see just a dynamic, a crazy, crazy run. Everything about this is telling me that we are headed for a big markup in the next couple of days, weeks, whatever. So we'll see what happens there. Now, continuing on, if you're not already, become a member of the channel. Only costs you $4.99 a month. If nothing else, become a subscriber to the channel because it helps me out tremendously. Also, if you're trading, if you do any risk-based gaming, then this is your place. Zombie School available to you right now. Chaos Crew. We are in horror mode as we get into the Halloween season. So we got Zombie School, we've got Chaos Crew, we've got everything you want. You've got 200 euros in weekly free rolls every Sunday for you to take a shot and see if you can get a win. A bunch of people out here playing, and man, sometimes I see crazy amounts being just wagered over here. So sign up. Terraport, I don't know what's going to go on, by the way. Terraport.finance for all your utility and meme coins on the Terra Luna Classic ecosystem. By the way, if you are looking for the vote and how the vote is going here for the new meme coin, for what's happening in this ecosystem, I can't really tell you because it is a very, very tight vote right now. A few minutes ago, it was pumping and we were winning. And it looks like, yeah, so it is past the pass threshold. The problem with that is we've still got no's coming in. We've got no's coming in, and we've got no with veto. And by the way, you're being manipulated, in case you didn't understand that you're being manipulated. And there's no better way for me to show you than to actually show you the governance and validators. This is what these scumbags are doing, okay? Check what's happening here right now. These guys are so shady and so scummy. Jesus is Lord, lost 2 billion in validation. Jesus is Lord, lost 1.5 billion in validation. And the only person that picked up large validation was Greenpeace, who voted no with veto. These guys are manipulating you. They are working together to stop you. And by the way, you might just be a fucking moron. You might be an idiot. I'm not saying that you are, but here's what I am saying. If you go over here and we go to X and we look at our bookmarks, David has been tracking this right now. Look at this right here. Jesus is Lord 1 and 2 in Terra Luna Classic voted no as a validator. 99% of the people who are validating with Jesus is Lord voted yes. He voted against you. And you were dumb enough that you saw the word Jesus is Lord and you were like, that's the person that I need to validate with because that's the guy that's going to do everything for me because he's not Jesus. Or whatever you say in your brain. But when you say dumb shit like that, that's what it sounds like to me. Also, 92% of Jesus is Lord 2 validators have voted yes, while he, in fact, voted no. He is stopping your progress and you validated with him, you dummy. Now, should I be calling you a dummy? I absolutely should not be calling your dumbass a dummy. You're the dumbass. Zero USTC fee right here. Guess what? 70% of their validators or their delegators voted yes. He voted no. He doesn't care about you. He doesn't respect you. He's not treating you like you matter. He's doing what he wants, not what you want. And you gave him the power to veto and stop progress on this chain. Lunk Classic DAO, 80% of their voters voted yes. They voted no. Hexagon 96% of the Hexagon voters voted yes, but they, as a validator, voted no. Okay, these people don't respect you at all. They don't do what you want them to do. They do whatever they care about, and they don't care about your bag. I care about your bag. I want you to get a pump. I want you to know that I have 20 million lunk. I'm not one of these big whales. I'm not one of these guys that makes 20 million in fees from a validator every month and then uses it to try to stab you in the back. I tell you how much I have. My Terra wallet is in the description down below. You can see everything. You know how much I have. I'm not getting rich off of Terra Luna Classic. I just like the rebound. I like what's happening over there, just so you guys understand. I could be a validator. I could do that, but I thought it was manipulative of me to do. But maybe it's time for me to manipulate. I don't know yet. Anyway, let's move on here. Devi, the wait is over, but it's just the website, so there's nothing else to it. It's now the 25th, so I don't know where the public shard is. I don't know where the public chain is. I don't know exactly what's going on with that. If I were to go into their chat right now, no information, just a website. So anyway, crypto bubbles, bad day overall. XPL down 34%, 27% on OG, 31% on IP, 12% on Avalanche, 11% on Pump, 8% on Hype. By the way, this is, I'm telling you right now, this is liquidity rotation. This is not people losing faith in the project. This is not people losing interest in anything. This is just everybody's now pulling their money out because it's about to go back into Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is about to rip. Now, we're down 44. We're still kind of neutral in the fear and greed index. We haven't seen that just spike down. Yesterday, we had 241 million in capital inflows into the Bitcoin ETF. On the Ethereum ETF, we still had outflows. It ended up being 79 million total, 19,000 Ethereum. So we had 3 days of outflows. Yuck. If we get 6 days of outflows, by the way, that triggers one of the bull market indicators. So we'll see what happens there. Total value locked, all the chains, the DEX volume on Solana. When you were asking, what about meme coin season? Meme coin season's happening on Solana every day. It's up $5 billion in trade volume. BSC, $5 billion in trade volume. Institutional, which is Ethereum, which still has meme coins, but mostly institutional, $4 billion. There's plenty of trades going on. There's plenty of people in this market. There's plenty of pumps that are happening. It's just, they're meme coins. They're just gambling assets, and they're speculative things that are just going to dump. There is no, look, the communities are dead. The communities, other than the communities, are scalping each other and stabbing each other in the back. Those are the only thriving communities. The communities that hodl, the communities that that do what can only be described as noble shit, they're dead. Okay, their money was stolen from them long ago. All right, that's the reality of cryptocurrency. Now, when you go look at the launches on Solana, plenty of different meme coins popping off. What do you suppose would keep XRP from flipping Bitcoin? Reality. XRP is not flipping Bitcoin. That's ridiculous. XRP is not that important. Okay. XRP is important, but it is not that important. Bitcoin is what's important. Bitcoin is the store of value. Bitcoin is what everything grows from. It's not going to flip Bitcoin. There's no chance of that happening. And in fact, if it were to happen, Ethereum would be well poised to do that versus Bitcoin instead, because Ethereum has far more utility overall than any other chain has right now. XRP is simply a monetary transfer mechanism, and that has value, and that could have up to 1.5 trillion value. But if it has 1.5 trillion value and goes to $25, then Bitcoin, I can assure you, will be at 3 trillion. It's not going that high. And also, it should be noted that there is a possibility that Ethereum doesn't go that high either. It could flip Ethereum. I would stand by XRP flipping Ethereum for a moment or two. Like, we could see some kind of crazy rally where Ethereum goes up to $12,000 and its market cap is suddenly like near 1.4 trillion, 1.3 trillion. But XRP gets on that big run and it goes up to 1.5 trillion. I don't think it lasts that way. I think Ethereum still is. Ethereum is what everything is built on. So it really just, all you have to do is pay attention to the number of protocols. Like, that tells you what you need to know. There's 1,600 protocols built on Ethereum. Now, what about layer 2s for Ethereum? There's 1,000 on the Ethereum layer 2. There's 700 on Ethereum layer 2. Okay, all the way down. There's 963 on the layer 2. I mean, everything is built on Ethereum. So if it beats Ethereum for a short period of time, it's not going to last. Ethereum's too important at this point. Also, I want you to see this right here. This is the 7-day number. I want you to see how bad this is right now. Other than Aster, which is up 200% on the 7-day, Dexy up 20%, Zcash up 20%. There are some things that are moving. Look at the 7-day on the downward trend. Mix is down 42, Pump is down 32, SPX 69 is down 32%, Hyperliquid down 28%, Pudgy Peng was down 27, OG down 25, Pi down 25, Conflux down 24, Aerodrome down 23, Chronos down 23. We're having just a massive sell-off all over the place right now. That's what it looks like on that daily. Like, that's absolutely crazy, right? I mean, we should be able to agree that that's absolutely crazy, right? We should. I mean, yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean. Woo! Your Cubbies and White Sox total suck. Cubs have barely been playing. They've been resting most of their starters for a month now because they're already making the playoffs. They don't give a shit about winning and losing at this point. They care about being healthy and motivated for the postseason because they're already in. So, it annoys me that they gave up on first place. It annoys me that they gave up on first place. But I'm not a raging lesbian, so I'm not a White Sox fan. So, you know what I mean? And if you're a White Sox fan and I just said that and you feel offended, what are you going to do? All right. So, what I told you before, this is Raoul Paul. The 4-year cycle is now the 5-year cycle. Bitcoin should peak in 2026, probably Q2. Duh. What I say again? Duh. Matter of fact, here's the worst part. The worst part is, like, I actually put it on my calendar here for you, and I think I might have taken it off. Oh, no, there it is. There's my cycle top right there. About 6 months from now, 7 months from now, in the second quarter. There we go. So, I've been telling you this for a long ass time. And by the way, cycle top right here, cycle top corresponds with 175,000 Bitcoin. That's why I'm following it this way, because the bottom of this channel down here up to the top of this channel up here, somewhere between 170 and 175,000 cycle top right there. Duh. I'm not a sailor or retarded, so I don't have any tattoos. I have zero tattoos. And by the way, I did offer to get a tattoo for Devi if they hit $3. Didn't even come close. So, oh well. I'm not doing that shit again, though. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not doing that shit again. Whew. Am I going to be a millionaire holding 1,000 XRP? No. You need 40,000. With 1,000 XRP, you're going to make about $25,000, which is still good. I mean, that's still going to pay for dinner for a year. You know what I mean? But no, you're not going to make. Let's look at some meme coins here because we haven't looked at them in a little bit. I keep getting pressed. So, WikiCat, Michael Jordan, best White Sox player besides Frank Thomas. No. Best White Sox players of all time. Mark Burley, Robin Ventura, Eddie Collins, Manny Minoso, Paul Konerko. I mean, Konerko, was I think he hit like 500 home runs, something like that. Like he was a stud when it comes down to it. Harold Baines, Carlton Fisk, Ray Jim Thome, Bobby Jenks, Jack McDowell, Black Jack McDowell, Goose Gossage, Ozzie Guillen, Tim Anderson. I mean, every one of these is better than Tim Raines. Every one of these guys is better than Michael Jordan. Early Win, which is one of the first All-Star, one of the first early All-Star kind of players. Shoeless Joe Jackson. There were plenty of really good players for the White Sox beyond Frank Thomas. I wouldn't say Mark Burley is there. Robin Ventura, I also would say, great player, but I wouldn't put him there. I would put Carlton Fisk maybe as number 2 on that list, just based on the amount of time and everything that he meant to the franchise. I would throw Bobby Jenks for a long time was great, but Jack McDowell was one of those guys. You know what I mean? Like there are a few really, really good players played for the White Sox. Anyway, Fias about down 2%, Devi down 5%, Volt down 4.5%, Bonk 4.5%, API 3 down another 5%, Solana, 100x Solana down 6%, Mantra down another 6%. I can't get a break on Mantra. It's not reversing at all. It will, by the way. I'm not really worried about that. You know what I mean? Like I really don't, last question, generally speaking, which major sports team generally owns Chicago? The Bears. The Bears and the Blackhawks are number 1 and number 2. Then the Bulls, the Bears, the Blackhawks, the Cubs, the Bulls, the White Sox would probably be the list. And by the way, that's because most of those are in the city. The White Sox are in the suburbs, and the Cubs are the suburbs too. But Chicago Cubs were America's team on WGN in the dawn of cable. So that's why. The rest of it just really down. So we're going to have to wait and see what the rest of the market does. We're not having a great day of it. It's getting kind of gross out there. By the way, I voted yes for the USTD proposal. There's a few hours left. If you have any lunk, you should go vote. Anyway, that's the show. Thank you so much for tuning in. Not financial advice. I'm always right. Time to go get that swole on.
I'm looking for the good life, sitting on top of the world. I wanna be shining like diamonds and pearls. I want you to go.